Hi, guys, and welcome to the new season of Tech Production Talks. I'm your host, Jake Babbage. As you can tell, it's a little different from last semester. We used to be ENT News, but we have rebranded to Tech Production Talks. In Tech Production Talks, we discuss entertainment technology and issues of interest to our students and the surrounding community. We have a pretty cool episode here today, guys. We're talking about regaining normalcy and returning to campus. And before we bring our special guests onto the show, we have a video for you guys to watch. So let's go on ahead and play that.
Well, ever since what happened to the pandemic, of course, we were definitely cut off from pretty much experiencing, in-person classes.
It feels really good back to be in person because during the pandemic we missed a lot of time to do hands-on activities. So now we get the chance to do that, and it's really great.
I'm excited. I get to interact with people in real life. It was weird just being on camera. On Zoom.
I wanted to see the student in campus. Being sitting behind the computer at home all day long, I didn't like it.
I never got a chance to work on the Haunted Hotel, so the fact that I get to be a part of that this year, we're trying to make it work, is really great.
All right, so I'm joined by our guest, John McCullough, the head of the Entertainment Technology Department, and Hope Reiser, the assistant to the dean. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right, so this question is for John. And so, John, how has it been for you to finally have students back in person?
Well, I'd say it's been pretty good to have students back on campus. I was teaching a hybrid course in spring 2021, but the campus really was a ghost town then. Only a very small handful of classes were in person, and we didn't really overlap very much with each other. Now you'll be on campus. There will be a lot of classes happening at the same time. So you get to see people in the halls, projects coming together, students working on things in our shops and our labs. That it's just nice to see kind of the building come back alive again. And it's also really nice, in addition to having students back on campus, having other faculty and staff members on campus, where you lose a lot in the formal Zoom meeting setting, where there's no chance for that, see someone in the hallway and have an idea you want to talk about kind of situation. And now it's nice. You can run into, other tech production things happening in the hall. Someone can call in, hey, can you look at this? And, you get a lot done that way that just wouldn't happen if you had to do it over Zoom.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely love being back on campus because I can't learn on Zoom. I did, but it was pretty tough, and I'm just happy to be back because I like being hands-on. And our major, you got to be hands-on. So that leads us to our next question for Hope. Hope, what challenges have you faced in getting the students back in person?
The biggest challenge that we faced is communicating with the students, just how safe it is to be here on the campus. Guidelines have been changing rapidly. Vaccination needs, status, wear a mask, don't wear a mask, 6 feet, 3 feet, 23 feet. We're getting different messaging from the CDC, the state, the city, the president of the college, the president of the country. So, trying to explain to people that it's okay to be here, that we're doing everything we can to keep everyone as safe as possible. It's hard to get that message out when there's so much information happening around the message. So, people have been hesitant to come back, but as they've been coming back slowly but surely, I think they're seeing now it is good and safe to be here.
Yeah, we don't want anyone getting sick, so that makes a lot of sense. So for our next question for John is, what was the final tipping point for you in choosing to have these hybrid classes?
So the determining factor, anytime I'm setting out the course schedule for any given semester, is what's the best way to achieve the goals of the course. Um, and that's what really led us to choose, this class is going to be hybrid, this class is going to be in person, this class is going to be online. So we have different types of courses have always existed in the department. We've had hybrid and online courses for years, and it's a model that we could go back to and use in a more expanded way during the pandemic year. But it really means for courses that have mostly a lecture-based content, that's something that can stay online. And if it is primarily like software-based, that can stay online, students working at home. If it's based on laboratory equipment or accessing something that we only have on campus that students don't have access to at home, right? Like not a lot of our students have a table saw at home or a 200-seat theater at home that they can practice in. So for those kinds of things, we do need to come on campus. And it's been great having people here, and achieving the goals for the courses on campus the way the classes were designed to be run has been pretty good.
Yeah, I definitely don't have a table saw at home, so it's definitely been good to be back. So our next question is for Hope. And Hope, so what safety measures have been the hardest to implement and why? It cannot be easy.
No, it hasn't been easy. I think the hardest thing that we've had to deal with is social distancing, partly because the guidelines keep changing, partly because everyone has a different level of comfort that they feel, and partly because as we bring people back to campus, the reasons they're coming back to campus are so that they can all use a table saw or so that they can all be in the theater at the same time, which means that we're asking people to come to campus and be near each other. There's limited labs that we need to use. There's limited shop spaces that we need to use. Elevators, small spaces, but everybody needs them to get to the 8th floor. So that's probably been the most challenging thing, is letting people find their comfort level in the space while also providing that space so that people can have those hands-on experiences.
Well, I think you guys are doing a really great job because I definitely feel comfortable.
Yeah, and one thing
that.
Well, one thing that I've really seen of people coming to campus is, doing advisement over the summer, helping people deal with building access at the beginning of the semester. Is there was, I think, rightfully a lot of anxiety as people were preparing to return to regular life a little bit, preparing to come back on campus, where especially in New York, people were, I don't know if you guys remember as far back as June, but everyone was feeling really good in June. All the mask mandates were gone. It was kind of like, hey, we did it. We made it. And then, Delta hit and restrictions came back in and people started feeling a little more anxious and a little more cautious. And, I think overcoming that hurdle for the fall semester has been a big part of like the tension around returning to campus. But once people get to campus, that's when you really can see and understand all the safety measures that are in place. People really are checking vaccine status to get onto the building. So we know that everyone coming in is vaccinated. People are keeping their masks on. And once you go through that process and you see like, okay, the school is doing what it needs to do to keep the students safe and the faculty and the staff safe, that anxiety level goes way down and we can just get down to the business of doing our classes.
Yeah, it definitely feels like business as usual when I'm in there.
Yeah,
so.
we've increased our cleaning schedules with the custodial staff. They've been doing a great job of keeping shared spaces clean, in order so that we have everything we need. There's soap, there's paper towels, there's hot water. We're doing everything that we can to make sure that you can function as normally as possible. Of course, albeit with a mask.
Of course. And that actually brings us to our last question for both of you guys. We'll start with you, John. What hurdles are you still hoping to overcome during all this?
Sure. So there's a couple of big hurdles to overcome to get ready for the spring semester. because we're going to be even more in person in the spring than we are right now. So right now, with our limited in-person schedule, we've been able to kind of like maximize our resources by having classes in a small number of labs for the department. We're really confining ourselves to our first floor labs and in the theater. But when we go to a more full in-person schedule in the spring, we're going to need to bring some of our third floor labs back online and just do more heavy use of all those spaces, which means there's a lot of work to get all of those labs, updated against computers updated and rooms cleaned and just everything set up for class use again. And also there are a lot of students who, for one reason or another, haven't continued their studies during the pandemic. This could be for health reasons, for financial reasons. They could just not want to participate in a really hands-on program like ours remotely. They want, a lot of us got into this business because we like being in the theater, being in the shop, hanging lights, having our hands on stuff. So I think a big hurdle for the program is, doing outreach for those students who haven't been with us through the pandemic, and letting them know that it's safe to come back. We're ready for them to come back, and the industry is really going to be ready for them once they graduate. As film, TV, live event production, everything is shifting into high gear now.
They definitely will be waiting. What about you, Hope? What hurdles are you still hoping to overcome?
The biggest hurdle I see for us going forward, not just in relation to the pandemic, but overall, is communication, direct communication with the students. There's so many modalities on how we can communicate, whether it's our website, sending emails, text messages, Instagram pages, the list goes on and on. But things are changing so fast that we are having a hard time communicating directly with students, and we don't know if they're hearing what we're saying. So what I'd really like to do is figure out the best way to communicate with students, whether it be on a university level or an individual level, and target that way so they know exactly what's expected of them and what we have to offer. Right now, for the pandemic, I want to be able to tell them it's safe to come back. And going forward, I want to be able to tell them exactly what's going on, all over the campus.
All right, that sounds great. I want to thank you guys for joining us today. It's been an honor and a pleasure to talk to you guys. And also want to thank you guys for your hard work. I know it hasn't been easy for you guys to get us all back in school. I can speak for probably all the students where I could say that it's been really, really great to be hands-on again, especially during the year we all just had. So thank you again for coming on.
Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having us.
We're glad to have you back.
Hell yeah. So thank you guys for watching. That's our episode for today. Be sure to tune in next week where we'll be talking about game design. I'm very excited for that episode. We're going to be talking about how games are made. We're going to have professionals come in and talk about the industry. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm your host, Jake Babbage, signing off.